existed up at Chevy Chase in North Atwater Village, or the violence that was in the Drew Star area at LaSalle Park, turning a drug house into something we took down and transformed into a community garden. We can together build the Los Angeles that we want. It'll take a tough leader who's made the decision and somebody who's done the neighborhood turnaround we all want to see. Please visit ericgarcetti.com, but it would be my honor to be your mayor for the next 8 years and write the best chapter of this city's history yet.
Thank you, Mr. Garcetti.
You know, the questions that have been asked here this evening, the foundation of these questions that have been asked through our many debates tell us that we are a city in crisis. We have a jobs crisis with an unemployment rate 50% higher than the national average. We have a budget crisis. We talked about the deficits, hundreds of millions of dollars, year in and year out. We have an infrastructure crisis, the second worst roads in the nation, thousands of sidewalks that are busted. An education crisis. We didn't get to talk about that topic tonight, but we can barely graduate half our kids in our public schools. A transportation crisis. We did discuss that. A public safety crisis, with the fire department response times well beyond what they should be with the national average. And we also have a culture of corruption in City Hall that affects the credibility of our city government. And I want to add an additional crisis. A communication crisis. The communication crisis is described so often to me as I cross this city, when I talk to people from neighborhoods all around LA, people that feel like they are shut out of City Hall. Many of you are neighborhood council members. How do you feel your city council is responsive to you? I don't need to answer that question for you. I talk to neighborhood councils all across their city. Volunteers that care about our city. I entered this race because there is a leadership crisis. And we need, desperately, an independent voice. Not someone who's looking for the next office, but someone who wants to put Los Angeles back on track with this office, and with you, and yes, with the city council, that someone independent of them will be able to bring along and return to the city where they belong. And ladies and gentlemen, visit my website, kevinjamesformayor.com, and I look forward to your vote now with the absentees and on March 5th. Thank you.
The questions have been fantastic, and I feel very, very energized and grateful that you've taken the time out to hear what we have to say. I want to work for you. I want to work with you to restore your parks, to preserve the historic quality of your community, to raise money for the Southwest Museum, to activate the collection again, and to preserve the Parkway and the Arroyo and all the things that you hold very dear. If you want to know what the city will look like in the future, we can work together to build a city where you don't need a car 100% of the time, where young people will have choices and affordable places to live, and that they'll have a light rail system, a bus system, and a dash system, so they can move east and west, north and south, in and out of the San Fernando Valley, to live where they want to live, work where they want to work. We'll have a better quality of life because we'll have more nonprofits that have been funded with programs that will enable at-risk kids to go back to school, get their GED, go to community college, and embrace the careers that are emerging over the last 10 years, like those careers in travel and tourism, in culinary arts, in logistics, in goods movement, in renewable and green energy. So we restore and revive our economy and bring in and build new taxpayers, not new taxes, so that people can continue to afford to live here, and that parents will have choices in the manner in which their children and their grandchildren are educated. So as we live longer and healthier, we can look forward to a well-educated, smart generation coming up behind us to continue what we started and have a better quality of life. My name is Jan Perry. Please join me on my website at janperry.com. And if you don't vote now by absentee, I hope you'll vote for me on March the 5th. Thank you very much.
Jan Perry's song, Saborami, actually was my wedding song. Our first dance, and my wife's here, Rebecca. Where's my wife? I out in the back. Thank you, Rebecca, for all the support you provide for me. I love you. Like I said earlier, we have a choice. We have a choice with the same politicians, the same results, or something new. I want to make sure that people in this city that come to the city or are fourth, fifth generation Angelinos can still live their dream. Can still live the dream like my mother, who came across the border pregnant with me and provided everything for me, even though we had to live in 10 different homes before I was 10 years old, had friends who were victims of gang violence. But I went through public schools and I got to make it. I got to make it to Stanford University and come back to serve my community. Those dreams need to be alive for everyone, whatever their path in life may be. But the only way we do that is if we take bold moves and we stop calling baby steps real progress. Look, as I'm running for mayor, what I see in terms of the elected officials I'm running against are 3 elected officials who have been in office for a combined 30 plus years, but they vote the same way 99% of the time. What I tell people is if you want the experience, if you want that highest unemployment rate, lowest high school graduation rate, brink of bankruptcy, you got great choices, you should vote for them. But this city is at a crossroads and we have an opportunity to elect someone new, someone who's been able to create from nothing something, someone who has the ideas, the solutions, has the experience across sectors to be able to propose real ideas. We can be a world-class city, but it only happens if we elect the right leader. Thank you for your time tonight, and I hope you join me by March 1st, March 5th, in taking us in a new direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.